Good morning, sir. S- No, sir, I can't hear you.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's check the homework we had yesterday. Again, some more present simple, present continuous differences. Number 4, look at the pictures and complete the sentences about what the people are doing. So in number 1, there is a girl. What is she doing? Right.
He's eating spaghetti.
Okay. And in picture number 2, what is the man doing?
He's driving a sport car.
Okay. A sports car, not a sport car. A sports car. Read more
Sports.
carefully. I have strong objection to such mistakes. If something is written with an S and you're reading it without an S, then it means you don't really care about S. S can change the meaning completely, can make you grammatically wrong, absolutely. And you still do not care about that S. That's silly. 3, what are these people doing?
They are
They're
watching a
watching football.
football.
And number 4, what is this man doing?
He's
He's
reading the
reading the
newspaper.
newspaper. And in number 5, what is this woman doing?
He's
She's washing
washing
her
her hair.
hair. And what are these women doing? They're drinking coffee. If you want, you can write they're having coffee, no problem. But please don't write they're taking coffee. That is absolutely not okay. Okay. Complete the questions about the people in part 1. So the question, I've been asking, right? So now you see the answer is spaghetti. So what should be the question?
What is he eating?
What's she eating, right? The answer is a sports car.
What is he driving? What's he driving?
What's he driving?
Driving.
Answer is football. And what's the question?
What are they watching?
What are they watching? Very good. 4, the answer is the newspaper. What's the question? What's she
What's he
reading?
reading?
Number 5, the answer is her hair. What's the question?
What's he washing?
What's she washing? And last, the answer is coffee.
What are they drinking?
Or what are they having? Okay. Okay. Now the negative sentences. Number 1, you have to complete them. These sentences. She isn't eating ice cream. Next. He isn't driving a van. 3.
They aren't watching cartoons.
They aren't watching cartoons.
He isn't reading a book.
He isn't reading a book. 5. Clothes. We don't say clothes. Okay, we say clothes. Clothes. Yeah. 6.
They aren't
They aren't
drinking.
having or drinking orange juice. Have verb can replace eat and drink both, right? Okay, as eat and drink are used separately for different food items. Liquid food items we drink, solid food items we eat, but have can be used for both. Sometimes you get a little bit confused whether you should say drink or eat. It happens. Just safe option is have. Present simple or continuous, exercise 5. So you have to decide which tense will be more natural for these sentences. In St. Mary's Hospital, she work or she is working? She works in St. Mary's Hospital. 2, she's working hard because she has exams next week. Okay, so the second sentence talks about a temporary situation. Now she's working hard, and the reason is her exams next week. After that, she will relax. She won't work that hard, right? Number 1, it is permanent. She works in St. Mary's Hospital. काम करती हैं. 3,
This is question. What language is she speaking?
Okay. Now you can hear me.
Yes, sir.
The problem wasn't on your side. But why would this happen? Why would it turn itself off like this? My receiver. I have spent quite a bit of money. Whenever something goes wrong, my heart starts to beat faster, you know, because what I bought was unboxed. And when you buy something unboxed, there is always a risk of the product being faulty. Hmm. Okay, so we are moving on now. Yesterday we were practicing whose. So what are the two questions? Suppose you want to know about this mouse, the owner of this mouse. You do not know. Then what would you ask? What will be the question? What would be the whose mouse is this? Okay. Or whose is this mouse? Okay. If that product is away from you and you want to say wo wala mouse kiska hai, then you will say whose mouse is that? Right? If the thing, the item that you are talking about is not near you, is at a distance, and in your mind you're thinking of wo wala, then this will change into that. And when in your mind you think ye wala, then you will think of the word this, of course. This. So wo wala mouse kiska hai? Whose mouse is that? Or whose is that mouse? Simple. So there are two ways we ask these questions. And then if we answer this question with the name of the person, we can. Oh, it is Rajiv's. Oh, it is Nikhil's, like that. Oh, it is Srishti's, like that. But if we don't want to use the noun, the name of the person, we want to point our finger towards them. We say, hey, it is his, it is hers, it is theirs, it is mine, it is ours. And here, the only thing that students need practice with is the number of nouns, because Bihari students find it difficult to differentiate between singular and plural many times. So that when you're talking about things which are plural, for example, headphones, then your question will be, whose headphones are those? वो वाला किसका है headphones? वो वाला whose headphones are those? ये वाला headphones किसका है? Whose headphones are these? Whose headphones are these? Because it's a plural noun. Headphones is a plural noun. So not this, these. Whose headphones are these? Jawab. Oh, they are mine. मेरा है. Yes. Can you do complete the grammar spot box, blue box on your screen? Complete the table. There is a table. There are 4 columns: subject column, object column, possessive adjective column, possessive pronoun column. They are written in a certain order: first person, second person, third person, then first person plurals, and third person plural. Go in that order: subject pronoun, I; object pronoun, me; possessive adjective, my; possessive pronoun, mine. So subject, you; object, you. What's the possessive adjective? Write it there. Complete the table, everybody. Are we ready to check?
Yes, sir.
Let's take a look. So the possessive adjective for you is your, and the possessive pronoun is yours with an S.
Yo.
The subject is he, the object pronoun is him,
Him.
the possessive adjective is his, and the possessive pronoun is also his. Subject is she, object is her, and the possessive adjective is also her,
Her.
but the possessive pronoun is hers. And in the possessive pronoun, when we add this S, the sound is not sa, the sound is za, hers, not hers. Hers, no, hers. Okay, the sound.
Hers.
Okay, next we have we, subject, object, us. Possessive adjective is our, and the possessive pronoun is ours.
Hers.
And ours as well, you can pronounce ours. You can pronounce it in two different ways, ours or ours. Ours, okay. Subject, they, object, them, possessive adjective, their, and possessive pronoun, theirs. Okay. Look how we ask the questions. Number 2, whose hat is this? Whose is this hat? Whose is it? Oh, it's mine. Mine means my hat. Here, this sentence, observe, my hat. The noun is present, hat is present. So the word my coming before a noun is an adjective, possessive adjective. But in the previous sentence, it's mine. Hat is gone. Hat is not there. So when a word replaces a noun, it's called a pronoun. So mine is a pronoun because it replaced the word hat. And it replaced the word my as well. It's mine. And that's why it is a possessive pronoun. A pronoun replaces a noun. An adjective doesn't replace a noun. An adjective comes before a noun, sometimes after the noun, to talk about it, to add some meaning. So it is a hat. It is my hat. So my is a possessive adjective. Be careful. Who's your teacher? Who's your teacher? Now, when somebody say who's your teacher, who's, both the words have the same pronunciation, but the words, the other words will easily tell you whether you are saying WHOSE or WHO apostrophe S. Who's your teacher? Who is your teacher? Grammar reference 10.3, page number 147. Let's go to page number 147 for a bit. I don't think there will be anything new there, other than what we have just studied. But let's just look at these examples. 10.3 here. Whose asks about possession. Whose bag is this? Is it yours? No, it isn't mine. It's David's. And some people will say it's David. The bag is David. The bag is David's. The bag is David. David has changed his form, he's got some magic tricks, maybe. He changes himself into a bag. It's David, which is what you guys did yesterday without the apostrophe S. Okay. Whose bag is this? Oh, it's David. Oh, bag is David. Oh, David, how are you? It's David's. The bag belongs to David. Okay, the bag is not David. If Ram was speaking English in one of the episodes, there would be a stone. Ram would say, whose is this stone? Oh, it's Anusuya. Anusuya. No, but the stone itself was Anusuya. The stone was Anusuya herself, because when Rama touched the stone with his feet, she changed into a woman. Yeah. So the stone was not Anusuya's. The stone was Anusuya herself. Okay. Because of her husband's curse, she changed into a stone. Yeah, a rock. All right. Um, when people told those stories in the past, they had no idea that somebody would come along later and question the morality in these for 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 a long time, for time immemorial. People listen to these stories with so much devotion that they did not let their, you know, common sense or their logic, prevail. Okay, so here is a story. A woman is in her house alone. Her husband has gone out, and then somebody who has some special powers enters her house disguised as her husband. How the hell is she supposed to know that the man who has come back is not her husband? If this powerful man with special powers has totally changed his form into her husband's form, his voice, his everything, body. First of all, understand that such things are not possible. But imagine if somebody could actually do it, you know, then how is it the wife's fault if she doesn't recognize the man, that this man is not her husband? And this man who enters the house disguised as her husband cannot be considered a good man at all. Because he entered with the intention to sleep with that woman. He was so infatuated in her that he could not resist, even though he was a respectable man. Okay. So he became too weak in that moment and he did it. When the real husband returns and finds out about it, he realizes what has happened. He is very powerful too. So he curses the man for what he has done, which makes sense. Very good. You punish the man who made the mistake. But then he punishes his wife as well. For a long time, people listened to this story. They didn't have any problems. But suddenly, in last some years, people are asking, why did he punish the wife? What was her fault? The poor lady, she was cheated by that man. She had, now the logic they give is, if she had been a faithful wife, she would have known. How? How would have she known? And she was a faithful wife because the husband does forgive her later. So why would he punish her? And there was no need to forgive if she was not at fault. And if she was at fault, then why did you forgive her? So when people start doing this kind of logic to such stories, people who have been believing in these stories without using any of their common sense get annoyed. Why are you doing so much of logic there? Why don't you also behave like them and simply surrender your logic and listen to these stories with the same devotion. The problem is not everybody is slow IQ. Some people understand. Yes, you were angry. That makes you a normal person. I know a normal person might get angry at his wife as well, but this will be his weakness that he is getting angry at his wife in a similar situation. If that episode takes place in the real world with somebody where a woman is tricked into something wrong, something immoral, tricked into it, okay? She is absolutely unaware of what's going on there. She's a victim. And it was not failure of her intelligence. So let's see, a doctor tells a woman that she has this problem or that problem. I'm just changing. She has no way to find out the doctor is lying, right? She has to believe the doctor. The doctor is a man with the expertise. So if a woman believes what the doctor is saying, the woman is not here guilty. She's a victim of the doctor's lie. So the husband cannot punish the wife. But in this story, the wife gets the punishment. And if somebody like me questions the morality in this story, then we become an outlaw. We become bad. Say, no. I mean, both the men were at fault. One who entered the house, he was at fault. And the man who got angry and punished his wife, he was at fault for not being able to control his anger. An angry man cannot do justice. When you are doing justice, you need to be completely calm, appreciate all the aspects of the situation, and then decide what the right thing to do would be. If you're angry, you're going to make mistakes. An angry person cannot be a judge, as simple as that. His anger will affect his decision making. This is exactly what happened. The husband punished his wife. He said, you become a stone forever. When she cries and pleads her case that it's not my fault, how was I going to know? And then he feels pity on her. What a great man. And he says, oh, a certain man will come touch you with his feet, and then he will come back into your form, woman form. Wow. And here, this husband is fine. He is absolutely at fault because he could punish the woman because he had the power to punish the woman. He did. So we would call him a bully. The woman didn't deserve punishment here. She was not at fault. And that man who entered the house, he deserved punishment. He deserved all our criticism and, everything. But what was the fault of the woman here? Anyways, so I on purpose did not mention the names. I don't want to get into any controversy, but logically, the story sounds pretty much flawed, doesn't really present a good lesson for morality here. Whose whose bag is this? Is it yours? No, it isn't mine. It's David's. And whose are these gloves? Hey, they are Emily's. Gloves, plural. These gloves. Oh, they're Emily's. So if you want, you can learn from these 4 sentences that the words like this and that and these and those are indicators, they help us indicate, point towards something. Okay. They can be used alone as well, but they are not pronouns. They are not used to replace the nouns. Okay. Basically, they are used to talk, to indicate what we are talking about. Those. Okay. Which flowers? Those. Okay. So even when we are saying those, we are pointing our fingers towards them. A pronoun is a word that is used instead of a noun. Okay. So we use it and they, two pronouns, singular, it, plural, they. Whose are these gloves? A person whose English is not very good might say these are, okay? But more natural would be they are, because you are now talking about the noun. So you need a pronoun to indicate. Suppose I didn't understand which gloves. Are those there, those. So to indicate, we use these words, okay? People often have questions. Is there a difference between these, those, and they? Yes, they is a pronoun used instead of a noun. Even if the noun is not in your sight, even if the noun is not in your sight, you can't see the noun, you can use the pronoun. I have bought a pair of jeans. Okay. Yesterday I bought a pair of jeans. What color are they? You can ask. You cannot see them. Okay. But you are asking, what color are they? You used a pronoun. What color are your jeans? Okay, the jeans you bought. What color are they? Whose WHO apostrophe S is the contracted form of who is. Who's that girl over there? Who is that girl? Who's that girl? Who's that? So who sounds very similar, okay? Similar or the same actually, they sound the same. WHO apostrophe S, WHOSE for possession. They sound the same. Who's that girl over there? Oh, that's Paula. She's one of the students in my class. She's one of the students in my class. Who's coming for a pizza? Who's coming? Who's coming? Who is coming? I'm coming. And Jack and Tracy are too. Jack and Tracy are also coming. Whose and whose sound the same. Be careful not to write them incorrectly. Try to appreciate the message in the sentence. You won't get them wrong. Whose jacket is this? And who's that boy with Jackie? So maybe you need some practice. First of all, in practice section, you guys have 9 sentences. Choose the correct word. In these 9 sentences, choose the correct word. Your or yours house is bigger than my or mine. Choose the correct word. Okay. So number one, your house is bigger than mine.
Mine.
There is no point in repeating
Mine.
my house, right? Your house is bigger than my house. But when we say that my house, then house word is repeated. And repetition is not good, avoid it. Your house is bigger than mine. Sounds more natural. Next, number two. Do you like their house better than
His.
his? Here we have a group of people, two, maybe husband and wife, and there is a guy alone. We are comparing their house. Their house, the husband and wife's house, their house, his house. Okay. Do you like their house better than his? Okay. Such sentences sometimes leave the students in big confusions. Some students don't have so much of imagination. So they do get the sentence right somehow, but they don't really understand what the sentence is actually saying. Maybe you are looking for a house to rent. Maybe you are looking for a house to buy. I am the middleman, okay, the agent. I show you a house which belongs to an old couple. And then I show you another house which belongs to a man. So after showing you both the houses, when you are giving me some nice comments about the couple's house, I say, oh, so it means you like their house better than his. Unless people have imagination to understand the context in which the sentence was said, their learning is not going to be complete learning. Complete learning is when you understand the grammar of the sentence and you also understand the meaning of the sentence in the right context. You should know where this sentence was said, who said it, and stuff like that. Now, of course, there isn't one answer to such questions, but at least you should have your own logical correct answer. Then you learn more. You learn more. You learn completely, actually. I do that. Even though I'm a beginner in Italian and Spanish, when I read a sentence, I don't just read, never do it, never. It's not me. I can't do it. I think if you ask me a question without knowing what you ask me, how do I answer it? That would be logical. I need to first try and understand what the question is. I need to be convinced with the answer myself. Then I can share the answer with you. Or I will show, oh, I'm not sure, I'm feeling confused, things like this. As these are logical things to do, right? Similarly, when I read a sentence, I always try to understand who said it, in what situation. The words help me. I can see the words. Do you like their house better than his? As a learner, sometimes it takes longer, maybe not in English so much, but when I'm learning Spanish or Italian, sometimes it takes a little longer to appreciate the context. But I have to do it. This sentence is not a random sentence without a reason. Nobody says anything in this world without a reason unless they're crazy. So I'm not learning from crazy people. Nobody can learn a language from crazy people. Crazy people can say anything in any moment. How will you find rhyme or reason behind what they're saying? So you can't learn. So if the person is not crazy, they cannot say anything without a reason. When you make somebody happy, they say nice things about you. You annoy somebody, they get angry, they abuse you. There is always something going on before something comes out of our mouth. I am saying all these things because I think it's my job to explain to you guys. You're my students. So, do you like their house better than his? It's not just a couple of words put together. It is a question. Somebody is asking this question. He has something, some reason to ask. He wants to know something. What is the context? I gave you one. Do you like their house better than his? And I know for sure the kind of students I have in my class. Majority of them will not bother to stop and think, oh, where is this sentence going to take place? Who's going to say this? They will just move on after doing, do you like their house better than his? And this is the reason, because they don't think about the context. When you ask them to translate, they will start reading the sentence 2, 3 times more. Because they did not appreciate what was said, what was written. I know it all so well. I feel annoyed and disappointed and strange. Why? Why do you have to wait for the teacher to ask you to translate it into Hindi? And then you will start to think. If the teacher doesn't ask what it is in Hindi, they're fine moving on to the third sentence without appreciating the sentence. And they call it learning. A Bihari phrase, Bihari saying, Bihari proverb comes to my mind. Laggi se ghas garna. My father used to, say it a lot. Whenever we didn't do anything with with the right, attitude, he would say that laggi se ghas garoge. Perhaps I don't have to explain it to you guys. You know what it means, do you? Laggi se ghas garna. Laggi is a small stick, I think. Laggi is a small stick, and ghas garna is to cut grass. To cut grass, you need a haswa, you need a knife, certain type of knife, right? But if you use this stick to break the grass, how long it is going to take, and are you ever going to be successful? But you're showing that you're doing it. If you refuse, then that's another thing. Humko nahi karna. But you're doing it. Ha, karte rahe hain. Laggi se ghas gar rahe. How successful you're going to be? So students who say that I want to learn and don't do it, then this is the saying that comes to my mind, that they are doing exactly what my father used to say, laggi se ghas garna. Why would you not stop and think what this sentence actually means? Are you in a hurry? Hurry of what? Learning? But you didn't learn. So how does it convince them that this is the right thing to do? Sometimes you guys are no exception to this. You also do the same sometimes. You guys read, move on, without appreciating the context, where it was said, who was the person who said it. 3. Now, this sentence doesn't challenge you as much. This is an easy one. You read and you appreciate. Yeah, your garden is smaller than theirs. Okay. Some people will not appreciate that theirs means there were 2 people, 3 people, family maybe. And you're talking about the family. Your garden is smaller than theirs, your neighbors maybe. Because neighbors are a family, 2, 3, 4, 5 people living together. You're not going to say his, you'll say theirs. Your garden is smaller than theirs. Number 4.
My children are older than hers. Hers.
Now, you understand what you said? Technically went quiet.
Yes, sir.
Then tell me in Hindi.
Sir, जो मेरे बच्चे उससे बड़े हैं।
मैंने कहा था ना,
मेरे बच्चे उसके
ऐसे
बच्चे
ही
से बड़े
होता है,
हैं।
ऐसा ही होता है। तुम आगे बढ़ने के लिए तैयार थे, चुप थे, मैंने कहा तो तुम गलत बोले, फिर सही बोले। Which option is correct? In number 4, which option is correct, Nikhil?
माई और हर्स।
You tell me, Sanjeev. In number 4, which options are correct?
My children are older than her.
Her and hers both are correct in this context. In this sentence, they give different messages. There is a girl, and I am comparing my children's age with that girl's age. I will say my children are older than her, that girl.
Her children.
That's what I'm saying. There is a girl, a small girl, 10, 12, 13, 14 years of age. There is a girl, and I'm comparing my children's age with that girl's age. I'm saying my children are older than her. And then there is a woman. She has children. I am saying my children are older than hers, her children. Both are correct. They say different things. Again, why do my students not think about it? Because they got this narrow vision where they have to think about the which possessive pronoun. So they chose hers, but that's it. They don't think about English message and all that. Number 5. This book isn't
माइन
mine. Is it yours?
इज इट योर्स।
6. Okay, whose WHOSE? Number 1. Second option, number 2. Which, number 1 or number 2? Whose dictionary is this?
Whose
Is it
dictionary
his?
is this? Is it
Number
his?
7, 1 or 2?
Number two.
Who's talking to your
Who's talking to your
sister?
sister?
8. 1 or 2? Who's going to her party tonight? 9.
Number four.
Who?
Number 1. We never say number first. Number 1. First is not number. Okay. First. We can only say first, or otherwise we can say number 1. Whose dog is that? The first, right? The first. Whose dog is that? In our garden? Okay. So here you guys didn't make any mistakes. Now see, because the input was coming through your eyes. You were reading the sentence. But this time the input will come through your ears. Listen to the sentence and decide. Option 1, whose, WHOSE, for possession, or option 2. Okay, so because you're not going to see the sentences, you're not going to read the sentences, you will shout 1 or 2. If the word you hear, in your opinion, is WHOSE, whose, you will shout 1. And if the word you think they're saying is WHO apostrophe S, whose, you will shout 2. Are you ready?
Whose or whose? A.
That's an amazing video game. Who's winning?
Who's winning?
Second. Who's winning?
Yes. Who's
Second.
winning?
Who's winning?
Who's winning?
Who apostrophe is.
Yeah, that's, you see the book. Where is who apostrophe is? Number 2 or number 1?
Number two.
Obviously.
B. Wow, look at that sports car. Whose is it?
Whose is this? The
Who's
sports
it?
car?
One. Whose is it? Whose is it?
C.
Whose phone is this? It's not
Whose phone is this first?
mine.
D.
I'm going to the pub. Who's coming?
Whose phone is second? Second.
E.
Yes, second.
Do you know whose scarf this is?
Do you know what this?
Whose the scarf this is?
Scarf?
F.
Who's the tallest in our class?
Who's the tallest in our class?
Who's the tallest in the class?
Number 2. Who's the tallest? Who is the tallest?
G.
Ava and Lena are identical twins. I can never tell who's who.
I can never tell who is who. They are identical twins. I can never tell who's who.
Who is who?
The second, yes.
H.
There are books all over the floor. Whose are they?
Whose are they?
First? Whose are they? Whose?
Now, I'm going to play again. This time. after each sentence.
10.9.
You will repeat
Whose
the whole-
or whose? A.
That's an amazing video game. Who's winning?
Repeat.
That's an amazing
That's
video
an
game.
amazing video.
Who's winning?
That's an amazing video game. Who's winning?
Who's winning?
Do you have the imagination to think of the situation where this lady is saying this sentence? What was the sentence? What was the sentence?
Person. Who's winning?
That's an amazing video game. Who's winning? What is the situation? Why is she saying this sentence? What's going on? Two people are? You're playing a video game. Another girl comes. This girl comes there. She sees the video game. Okay, she likes the game. She says, "Wow, that's an amazing video game." And then she asks, "Who is winning?" Okay. Number 2.
B. Wow, look at that sports car. Whose is it?
Wow, look at that sports car.
That sports. Whose is it? Whose is it?
So the man suddenly sees a sports car,
A sports car.
and he likes it very much. So he says, "Wow, look at that sports car. Whose is it?" Okay.
C.
Whose phone is this? It's not mine.
Whose phone is this? It's not mine.
Okay.
Uh,
There could be a lot of possible
Mhm.
situations. One situation I'm talking about it. Maybe in a class, a girl student saw a mobile phone next to her. She picked up the phone. Whose mobile phone is it? Not mine. She makes it very clear. It's not hers. An honest person. Somebody might have slipped the phone, switched off the phone and slipped it in her bag. She didn't do that.
D.
I'm going to the pub. Who's coming?
I'm going to the pub. Who's coming? I'm going to the pub. Who's coming? He doesn't want to go alone. He is inviting people.
E.
Do you know whose scarf this is?
She finds a scarf, right? She asks people, do you know whose scarf this is? Do you know whose scarf this is? Do you know whose scarf this is? She's holding it.
F.
Who's the tallest in our class?
Who is the tallest? So some students are sitting together having some fun conversation. One of the girls asks, do you know who is the tallest in our class?
G.
Ava and Lena are identical twins. I can never tell who's who.
So he about two sisters. He says they are identical twins. They look exactly the same. They are identical twins. Identical twins look exactly the same. Very minor differences. Yes. Most people find it difficult to tell who is who. Who is who? कौन है? पता नहीं चलता. They can't tell who is who. Yeah, everything, if they wear the same clothes, it's very difficult. There are videos on YouTube where identical twins and sometimes triplets. There are three people as well. There are three brothers and they look exactly the same. And they,
One had a very naughty wife, and the second is a very innocent one.
okay. Go on.
But when the naughty boy,
Does anything wrong,
yeah, and
the innocent one gets scolded. Okay. Instead of boy, you could have said the twin, the innocent twin, the naughty twin. Okay. But that's what exposure is all about. Right now, you will say boy. If I were speaking the same thing, if I were talking about that episode, I would say the innocent twin, the naughty twin. Okay. So how does it change? It changes by listening, you see, because you have comparatively very little exposure to English. If you compare your exposure and mine, so you have very little exposure. So your English comes from that little exposure, whatever you have, you're using. But if that exposure becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, it means now you have more to choose from. So obviously you'll have more freedom, more flexibility, more fluidity in your language. So that's why I keep saying, yes, course will teach you. Of course it does. But I don't know why. I think that my qualities are becoming my weakness. Because I say these things to my students that you need to listen more, listen more. Students in Bihar Sharif are not mentally prepared for such teachers who encourage them because they think of it in a different way. They think that what I've done is not enough yet. They want that feeling that what I've done is enough, I have learned. They don't want anybody to tell them that this pond is not an ocean. They want to believe that their pond in which they are is the ocean. It is not. And somebody who tells them that you have to go into the bigger place, a bigger ocean, they don't like hearing that, maybe. Otherwise, I find it very difficult to understand why, after all, my class would not be crowded, because my classes are effective. People are actually learning, they're growing. What is it that my class is not crowded? What could be the factor? Am I not a good enough teacher? Do you think Bihar Sharif has teachers who can contribute better than I do? Mostly the answers I find, not only my answers, I know the answers are in the negative, because I see what they're teaching the teachers. The teachers themselves are not good enough to be even the best of my students, you know. If some of the teachers join my class as the students, my students will perform better than them in the class because their students are better learners. Everything is right. Then what is it that the class is not crowded? Is it lack of advertisement? Is it lack of information to people? What is it? Or simply my attitude when I teach, I keep saying to them, do more, do more. How long do they ask? You know, so I have had students who ask me, when will the course complete? All of it. I will become everything. Come on, that's stupid. I have been learning and teaching for such a long time. I don't feel that way. But when I speak English, people think that my English is good. But I keep learning, because if you inside start to feel you know everything, then you won't learn anything more. The great people have said that as long as you live, you learn. You keep learning. Life, learning only stops when you die. As long as you live, you learn. And this is true when you're learning a foreign language in particular. So I don't know. This bothers me a little bit. I want to make changes. If there are things that I'm not doing right, then I want to change them. But I don't see where I'm going wrong. You know, for me, I'm doing the best I could. I've been improving myself so that I can contribute more to my students' learning. And still, fluidity is a very important thing in a teacher's speaking. When the teacher speaks, it should not feel like, you know, he's just struggling to find words here and there. It should be fluid. And then the students will learn that fluidity will be affected positively by that, you know, fluidity. But I don't think people here appreciate it, you know. They like it when the teacher teaches them a structure and they just make sentences on that structure. That's the problem. Rote learning is so powerful here. It's difficult to change people's mind. But anyways, you guys have some homework for Monday. I'll see you. That was my frustration. I vented out. See you. Bye-bye.